The power of Christ compels you!
Scary stories.
I don't remember a lot of details, but it was summer, and I went next door to my friend Leah's house to play video games. Leah was rambling about this hot guy that she was trying to set me up with. Leah was showing me pictures of this guy on Facebook and playfully rubbing herself and even touching me as well. Stop, Leah. You know what that does to me, I said, trying to hold back the urge to jump on top of her. I don't want to stop. I want you, Leah responded as she kissed me gently on the forehead and ran her hand up my leg. Please, Megan, go out with this guy. You'll love him. He's amazing in bed, Leah continued. I'm not looking for sex, Leah. I want a man that is going to love me, not some fuckboy, I said, getting irritated by Leah's uncontrollable urge to push this guy on me. Later that night, I was sitting up on Facebook, messaging Steven. He was bitching and moaning about Kayla cheating on him and saying all kinds of other shit. Also asking me if I wanted to get high, etc. I knew that he liked me, and I liked him too. I also knew what he meant by let's get high. He wanted to have sex with me. I didn't mind that Steven was straightforward and didn't sugarcoat anything. If he wanted to have sex with me, he'd tell me. I remember the first time we met. One of the first things that he did was walk straight up to me, grab my hand, and kiss it. My name is Steven. I'll be seeing you around. And then he walked off. It gave me chills, and I was excited and scared at the same time, and I loved it. Just as I was getting ready to go out with Steven, the fuckboy that Leah was trying to set me up with messages me. Hey girl, damn you fine. Let me get that ass. His name was Simon. Excuse me? Who the fuck are you? I replied angrily. You know who the fuck I am, bitch. Leah said you wanted to fuck, so we gonna fuck. I'll be at your house at 9. Have dinner ready, cause I'm gonna take you to heaven, girl. You know you want me, Simon continued. I was grossed out and scared that this fuckboy was going to come to my house and rape me. I messaged Leah, showing her the messages. Oh girl, you cray-cray. That's how men talk. He isn't gonna hurt you, Leah reassured me. I don't like him. Please tell him I'm not interested, I pleaded with Leah. Just then I hear a car pull up, bass from the speakers rattling, the windows are shaking, and so is my house. My father walks outside and yells at Simon. Don't be pulling up in my motherfucking yard blasting that shit, boy. I will fuck you up, my father demanded. What making that, bro? Simon responded in a cocky, disrespectful kind of way as he lit a Newport. None of your goddamn business. Get the fuck off my property before we have problems, my father answered. Fuck you, old man. I ain't scared of your bitch ass. You ain't always gonna be here to protect your little hoe ass daughter. That bitch grown now, and I'm gonna get her ass on that shit and trick that bitch out, Simon bitched as he got back in his car, continuing to disrespect my father and I and threatening to rape me and all kinds of other sick shit. I was so shaken up and scared that I messaged Steven on Facebook and asked him for his phone number. I called him and began to cry as I told Steven that I was scared that Simon was going to rape and kill me. Look, Megan, I'm not going to let this fuckboy come near you. Trust me. You know that I love you. We are best friends, and I won't let him hurt you, Steven said with a calm, sweet tone. I felt all my worries fade away, and my body became euphoric with thoughts of lust as I remembered that Steven and I had a date tonight. I'm going to come and pick you up and check on your father and make sure he's all right, Steven continued. Steven pulls up outside as he's getting out of his car. He yells at my father and I. Get the fuck in the house and get down! Suddenly, I hear the screech of tires on the asphalt and see it's Simon's car flying down the road, and I hear gunshots being fired. It sounded like automatic gunfire, like an Uzi or something similar. The police show up later and take everyone's statement and leave. Stephen takes my father and I back to his house, and we sleep there. The next day I wake up and Stephen is sharpening his knife, a 7.5-inch blade similar to a Bowie knife. "I'm going to end this shit tonight," Stephen muttered to me. I leaned down to his level and kissed him and crawled into the lazy boy with him. "Stephen, please baby, just let the cops handle it," I pleaded with Stephen as I desperately tried to get him in the mood so that he'd have something to think about other than murder. I feared he'd go to prison and I'd never be able to love and trust someone like him ever again. "Cops don't give a fuck about anything around here," Stephen mumbled as he wiggled away from me to go smoke a cigarette and drank his favorite soda, his mood growing ever more darker, and I could feel the love he normally had in his heart fading too, though he remained sweet to me as he kissed me gently on the lips and lightly speaking, "I don't want you to get hurt." And then Stephen walked away and passed out in bed. I messaged Leah on Facebook and pleaded with her to call me. The phone rang minutes later. "Leah, I think Stephen is going to do something terrible," I cried out to Leah, tears falling and anxiety growing ever more crippling as I desperately tried to light my cigarette. But the lighter wouldn't light. "Megan, listen honey, I'm going to come by the house. I got something that will help," Leah answered. "I'll also get Krista, because I think she may also be in danger," Leah continued. Leah and Krista showed up, and we all sat down and smoked weed as Stephen continued to sleep. Then I hear Stephen's phone go off. I did not want to wake him, but it was Kayla, and he doesn't usually ignore her when she calls. I didn't like the fact that they were still talking, but I accepted it for what it was, whatever the fuck it was. Stephen answers his phone and Kayla is crying and upset and scared. Stephen then hangs up the phone and walks outside and gets in his car and drives to Simon's house and kicks the door in and pistol whacks Simon and drags him to his car and throws him in the trunk and drives out to the woods, buries Simon alive. Stephen is arrested and only given a few months in jail. They let him off easy whenever he told them everything. Apparently Simon not only wanted to rape me, he also was threatening Krista, and he had also hurt Kayla, and when Kayla had called Stephen from the hospital, Stephen lost it and drove out to Simon's house to murder him. Simon didn't die, but he is in prison right now. I kinda wish that the cops wouldn't have been able to rescue Simon. I really wanted him to rot in that grave and suffer as his breath became faint and his life flashed before his eyes as he came face to face with his mortality, but I still pray that he gets what's coming to him in prison. I hope that every day is misery for this piece of shit. As far as Stephen and I are concerned, we are still together, and we are getting married soon. Something romantic about having a man commit attempted murder for you. Not something that most women can handle, or would ever want to. I didn't really want to, but at least Simon got what he deserved. I used to go out and smoke crystal meth with trashy ass motherfuckers that I could never fucking stand. I legit hated these stupid motherfuckers. I may have even wanted to kill many of them. My girlfriend April was an emo whore that thought she was better than every other slut that was at school. She used to cut herself, and many days I felt sorry for her. I felt the pain in her heart, and deep down, I knew that she loved me, but could never tell me. I was into a lot of dark shit back then, kinda still am. I used to listen to black metal, No, not Demi Bougier or Cradle of Filth, you posers. I'm talking about bottom of the barrel, basement, recorded in a sewer, lo-fi, ear rape, known as three cult black metal bands like Catharsis and Satanic Warmaster, etc. But when I met her, I felt ashamed of the terrible music I fell in love with. I wanted to change myself for the better, or worse for her. April was raised to be Christian, though her parents tried for many years to ram the Christian faith down April's throat. She wouldn't budge on her own convictions and the things she held dear to her own heart. April was always getting bad grades in school, and she never cared for school. April belonged to the street and was all about that drug life. She would do anything to get them drugs. I was also a different kind of man. When I met April for the very first time, she was at a party. She was fucking trashed, and she comes up to me, breath stinking of marijuana, cheap whiskey, and beer. Though her breath smelled rotten, she was hot as fuck. And I mean, she was wearing a sexy little red dress, black stockings, and high heels. Her beautiful, light brown hair laying gently upon her shoulders. She was a literal goddess. I wanted desperately to corrupt her heart. I prayed to Satan, and my prayers went unanswered. I cursed the whole night and stayed up until 3 a.m., smoking cigarettes, contemplating my end. I wanted to die. I couldn't figure out why Satan wasn't answering my prayers. I searched the web and tried to find answers to why I was feeling forsaken by the devil in my most desperate hour. I seen many things about praying to Jesus for his forgiveness. I fought the urge to masturbate. I wanted to watch porn, but instead I stayed up watching metalcore music videos and nofap videos. I thought of calling my brother, but I figured he'd just act like a neckbeard asshole that he is and not answer the goddamn phone. I resisted the urge, but my constant need for assurance and validation consumed me. He did not answer. I got on Facebook and desperately tried to talk to girls. I begged and pleaded and asked for nudes and sexy pictures. I knew they were bots, but I enjoyed the metagame. I needed the practice talking to girls if I was ever going to impress April. I thought about becoming a fuckboy. Yeah, I ain't even joking about that shit. I legit wanted to be a fuckboy. I began listening to some different kind of music, some mixed with metalcore and hardcore thug rap, and it was offensive beyond belief. I legit listened to Slim Jesus and thought I was hard as fuck. I also began listening to Ronnie Radke and some other shit. I still remained the same Satan-worshipping asshole that I already was. I stopped watching porn and threw out all of my old clothes and began looking to hypebeast clothing. I was now in the process of creating a new image of myself. The old me was laid to rest. I went out looking for April. However, I did not find her. I instead ran into April's friend and went on a few dates with her. They weren't fun at all. She'd yell at me for no reason and even stole shit from me. I caught her trying to steal a $50 bill out of my wallet. "What the fuck are you doing, bitch?" I shouted at her. She turned around smiling and giggling. "I wasn't about to steal your bitch-ass money. I can make my own money, bruh." "Look, just stay out of my wallet, please," I pleaded. "Whatever, dude. If we ain't gonna fuck, I'm gonna go smoke," she replied. I collected my thoughts and took my pills. I then joined April's friend on the porch, and I told her about my feelings for April. She seemed mildly interested, listening to me bitch and moan about April. April's friend took her last puff of her cigarette and ashed it. "Look, if we're gonna fuck, come in," she muttered. I wasn't sure if I had heard her correctly, but I got up and went back inside and she was slowly undressing. She seemed shy about taking her clothes off. I walked up to her and gently put my hand on her back and asked her, "What's wrong?" I then told her, "We don't have to do this." She looked up at me and kissed my lips. Anyway, you know the rest. April's friend and I discussed ways to get April to fall in love with me. We planned and plotted many things. We looked up satanic spells and practiced them. I later found out that April's friend was just appealing to my interest, so I would continue to have sex with her, and she'd have a place to stay. I wanted to kick her out. I mean, I didn't love her. She literally meant nothing to me romantically, but at the same time, she was my sweetest friend, and I enjoyed her company. So, I let her stay, but we stopped sleeping together. I would bring other girls home with me, and she started fights with them all. She kept telling me she loves me and that we are supposed to be together, and I'm not wanting to hear any of it. I am going to fucking kill you, Steven. I swear to God, I hate you so much. You're a soft boy, ass bitch, and you don't deserve me or April. Fuck you, bitch. You fucking tricked me this whole time. You told me that you wanted to help me get with April, and all you fucking did was live in my house and make me buy you shit? I screamed. Smack a bitch today. Thank God I ain't have to. What the fuck? I muttered as I looked at the phone and noticed who was calling me. It was my baby mama. Hey, listen, I need to talk to you about something. Are you still with them mother bitches? Heaven asked, almost in a condescending tone. No, I stopped fucking with all those other crack whores, I replied. I didn't know you were fucking with crack whores now. I thought long and hard about what I wanted to say, but the words would only come up and then rot away and decay. My heart aching as we listened to the ambient sound of breathing over the phone. I still love you, I said. Don't do this, please. Not right now, Heaven muttered, heart frozen and full of decay. I violently hung up the phone and threw it against the wall. I laid in bed and cursed her name and thought about all of the memories we shared together, and I tried to rationalize her reasons for cheating on me and the reason she hated me so fucking much. April called me out of the blue on Facebook as I was trying to flirt with Krista. I answered April's call, nervous as fuck. Hi, April. Hey, Steven. I've been thinking about you. Do you want to go get dinner? I asked, heart racing, anxiety kicking in. I lit a cigarette to calm my nerves. April was rambling on and on about how she was going through this and that. I really didn't want to hear any of it. Remember, I said I was in love with April. I interrupted April. Hey, I'm sorry to cut this short, but I promise I'm not being rude. But should I come pick you up? Oh yeah, sweetie, come get me. I'm about to shower. Okay, I'm coming. When I got to April's house, she was standing outside with 3 rednecks, and they were drunk and hooping and hollering a bunch of nonsense about me being a dopehead and how they don't want crackheads at their house. There was a fat, ugly one that thought he was king shit. There was another tall, scrubby-looking motherfucker, and another skinny, lanky, buck-tooth-looking asshole. I could look at these bitch-ass little punks and tell that they weren't about to do shit. I stared down at the passenger seat where I kept my Glock laying on the seat. I was ready to shoot these little pricks, but I decided I'd just drive off. I got on Facebook and cussed out April. You bitch-ass motherfucking hoe. You had me drive all the way out there just for you to fucking set me up? You don't know me like that, bitch. Seriously? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking insane? I knew you was on that shit, Steven. I knew you smoked that shit. It's no secret that I do that H. I was gonna ask you if you'd take me to get some medicine. Please, honey? I'll make it worth your while, April responded. I drove back out there and picked up April at the end of the road. As we pulled out, I could see the rednecks looking at me with a smug look on their face. The little fat troll redneck was pissed off that I was with his girl, as he claimed she was. This guy legit thought that he owned April. I looked over at April and asked her, "Why the fuck do you hang out with those stupid motherfuckers? God damn, those guys are straight up trash. They some real fuck ass little bastards. I wouldn't even fucking talk to them. And I'll kill them motherfuckers if they ever try me again. I don't fucking hang out with them. They're my fucking cousins, and I fucking hate them. They want me to be Christian and go to church and all this other stupid fuck ass shit that I don't have time for," April responded. April and I were camping in the woods, and our cousins came to where we were, and they started punching and kicking me and harassing their cousin April. And they cracked jokes about raping her, and I think one of them was seriously considering it. The tall, lanky one was licking his lips with dip in his mouth. I overheard him having a conversation with the other two. "Hey, let's fuck her. Seriously, dog. We should fuck this little cunt before we leave. I've been craving some pussy." I pulled out my gun and pointed it at them. "Get the fuck out of here, or I will blow all of your goddamn brains out right here, right now. I don't give a fuck." April then hits me in the back of the head with a baseball bat, and I blacked out. I awoke to darkness, panicking and screaming for what felt like forever. I could feel my breath slipping, and I felt my soul wanting to leave me as I desperately screamed for help. I suddenly heard a thud on the top of the lid of the box I was trapped in, and then the lid was cracked open, and I jumped out screaming and panicked, ready to kill anything in my way. The cops detained me for a bit and helped me come to my senses. Remember, I told you earlier that I was a Satanist, and April was raised to be a Christian. April's cousins wanted to bury me alive as part of some weird fucking Christian ritual. They didn't know shit about Christianity or magic, but they were determined to keep me from having the love of my life. April was crying and begging for my forgiveness as they arrested her and her cousins for attempted murder. April kept screaming that she was sorry and that she loved me, and the rednecks, on the other hand, had no remorse. Not that I would have wanted their sympathy or remorse. I prayed that they'd die in prison. April called me from jail after 2 months or so. "Steven, look man, I'm sorry for everything that I ever did to you. My cousins wanted me to join their religion, and I was scared of what my cousin Adam would do to me." Adam is the tall, lanky one. She then hung up the phone. I cried at my computer desk as I felt the pain of 1,000 daggers pierce through my miserable heart, and I wanted nothing more than to cut my wrists and curse the name of God. As tears streamed down my face and my breath became more shallow, and I slipped further into the darkness of my mind, I held the lighter under the silver and cherished the familiar sting as I slipped out of consciousness and let everything fade away. Phone beside me blowing up with notifications from Facebook and text messages from April texting me, telling me that she loves me and that soon we'll be together, and that we will never be apart, and that I can never leave her side. My name is Dalen, and I dated a crazy lunatic, impossible cult member by the name of Cassie. Now I must admit I loved this crazy bitch once long ago, but after what this crazy ass bitch did to me, I still have nightmares to this day. When I met Cassie, she was on heroin, and I swear to God that she was an absolute whore. But me being the fuckboy that I was, I loved that about her. I was legit looking for a fuck girl. I wanted a ride or die bitch, and I was going to get her ass one way or another. I talked to a couple of my homeboys, and they just talked shit about me. They didn't care about helping. The only thing that these assholes wanted to do was make fun of me for not having sex with anyone in more than a year, like it was any of their business. God, I hate these fucking guys. I found my best friend Steven. Steven was the realest motherfucker I'd ever met. He was loyal to his friends, and he was smart as fuck. He knew how to handle shit. He was a master manipulator and a bit of a narcissistic asshole. Steven, let me get a cigarette, man, I said to him. Steven gave me a dirty look, in a funny kind of way. Steven liked to also pretend to be snobby and snooty, and deliberately tried to offend you. I know you didn't just want a cigarette, bitch, Steven said as he handed me a cigarette, and we both lit one. I like that Cassie bitch, bro, I said. Okay, then why ain't you fucking with her? Steven replied. Man, you know her ass on that shit, I answered, taking a deep, long hit of my cigarette. Look, loser, don't be a fucking incel. If you want her ass, then walk up to that bitch and tell her you want her ass. If she says no, fuck her. She probably ain't shit any goddamn way, Steven said, getting excited by the sound of himself spewing his bullshit. Steven was a manic depressive bipolar type of motherfucker, and he loved to listen to himself talk. No one could ever love Steven the way Steven loved himself. This asshole was the literal definition of vanity, and believed he was God's gift to women, and believed he was the best looking fucking man on the planet. Steven's phone rang. Shut the fuck up. I gotta talk to this girl, Steven demanded, as he pulled out his Android phone, blasting Hell Eternal from its blown-out speaker. Hey, baby. It must have been his girlfriend, Heaven. Hi, honey, Heaven answered, and that cute upward inflection she did when she would talk to him. What are you doing, my love? Heaven continued. I'm just talking to Dalen. Do you want me to come see you tonight? I'll lay it on you and whisper I love you in your ear as I consume the essence of your soul. Steven answered with a smile on his face. He wasn't nervous. He knew what he was doing. I listened onward as Heaven and Steven continued their conversation for at least an hour. The conversation alternating between professing their undying love for each other to fighting about this and that, some more bitching from both of them, and then them coming full circle and resolving their fight. I love you, baby girl, Steven said with a heavy heart. I love you too, baby, Heaven replied as she returned his deep sentiment. Steven hung up the phone and looked at me. Look, you want me to fucking help you? Talk to me later. Right now, I gotta get home and I gotta go fuck this woman. Or she's gonna get mad as hell and I don't want to deal with all that bullshit, Steven said, rushing to pack his laptop and rushing to his car. I hope you get her ass, Steven reassured me. I'll show your bitch ass how a player does it, Steven continued as he sped off like a bat out of hell. I went home disappointed and a bit confused by what Steven was trying to say. I laid in bed listening to Dying Fetus, slipping in and out of sleep. I panicked when I felt my phone go off and vibrate my bed. Hey, I answered. Steven mocked. You about a feminine ass little hoe, ain't you? It's no wonder why that Cassie bitch ain't fucking with you, Steven continued. I began to speak, and Steven cut me off again. Steven continued to demean me and call me homophobic slurs, and made fun of me for like 2 hours. Look, in all seriousness though, you want something, you gotta say something. I didn't mean to offend you by calling you gay and shit. I know you ain't gay, and I wouldn't really give a fuck if you were, Steven concluded before cutting the conversation off and hanging up. The next day I was hanging out around town, just skating and smoking a joint, and I see Cassie. She's with her mom, I walk up to her and I ask her out. We go out later that night. I must have passed out because I woke up in the hospital. When I woke up, there were 2 cops, and my mom and the cops were questioning me about this and that. I didn't really say much as I don't talk to police like that. But they did tell me that Steven, Heaven, and Cassie had buried me alive as part of some satanic ritual, and that they were arrested. So, 3 from hell that tried to bury me alive as part of some sick satanic ritual. Let's not ever meet again. If you're new, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me out. And if you are already subscribed, welcome back and thank you for subscribing. Alright, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Scary stories.